Hello, my name's Kate Morris and I'm here at the Tasmanian Museum Art Gallery here in Hobart with Michael Powers from Heritage Solid Plastering.
How you going, Kate?
Hi Michael, good to see you again. Michael, you've been working for months on this incredibly important project here at TMAG, so could you tell us a little bit more about why we need these walls re-rendered?
Yes, there's a very simple answer. We're trying to protect and preserve the brickwork. The render that goes on, if anything fails, the render will fail first. It's like you putting on a jumper in winter. So it's mainly to protect the bricks. Obviously there's an aesthetic to it, but its main function is to preserve the brickwork, because if you lose the brickwork, you've lost everything.
Lost the building. And these buildings, I mean, the Bonster was built in 1824.
Yes.
And I think this wall was a little bit later that
Yes.
you're working on now. But
as you would have seen here before, all the render had fallen off.
yes,
Okay, so it's easy to replace the render again.
yes.
I mean, if you had to replace the brickwork, you're building the building again.
I see.
So we're keeping all the main heritage intact, and we're doing this in the same way that the convicts would have done, except obviously they didn't have the machinery that we have. But we're putting on 2 coats of render. The first coat of render has got hair. It's not the same hair as the convicts had, because we can't get that anymore. But the process is basically all the same.
Same, gosh. So it's highly specialised work then.
It is.
And we did see you earlier this year when you were making all the render.
That's
so
correct.
there's another video to see about that really interesting aspect to this project.
This is interesting what the boys are doing here at the moment. We've scrubbed down the wall first just to get rid of moss and lichen and all
Yes.
that, and we're now giving it a week lime wash. This helps to kill the suction in the brickwork and allows the render to bind a little bit better.
Ah, okay. So
It's very important.
So it's from the looks of it, it's quite liquid, isn't it?
It's very
So-
liquid, yes.
Okay, so you start
Yes,
at the
it's
top.
a weaker mix than the lime wash finish on this.
Yeah. Okay. So they do. So they wash the bricks.
Yes.
Then they're doing this lime
Yes.
wash, and then what happens?
And then I give it the first coat of render, which we call a scratch coat, and that's the
Okay.
one that's got the hair. You might be able to see over here. It's got
This
all-
is so.
yes,
This is that right. So
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's got all scratch marks in it.
Yeah, and those scratch marks will help the render to adhere.
Yes, they'll have the next coat.
Okay.
Yeah, to stick. Yep.
Right. So when we look at the Bonster wall, which is
Yep.
now finished, is the next stage on this wall to make it look like this?
No, there's a second coat of render to go on that we straighten and smoothen, and then the next coat is the rough cast that we throw on.
It's really involved, isn't it?
Yes,
And you've got to
but-
keep moving on it by the looks of things. You
That's
can't
right.
stop.
But this wall is probably the worst. You might see at the top, a lot of the bricks have degraded, just due to the weather. They haven't been protected. So we've tried to keep, if they weren't damaged too much, we tried to keep them. You can see the replacement bricks that we've put in
Yes,
here
I can
and
see
there.
them
Yes.
jutting out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we've used a weak mortar to sort of separate the old from the new. Obviously, if you put anything in that's too strong, it's going to affect the area around it, and you'll be doing more harm than good.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, a lot of work and a lot of things to consider
That's
along
right.
the way.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Thank you very much. Before we do go, I'm kind of intrigued as to this tool that you have in your hand.
Yeah, this is what we call the scratcher.
Ah, that's the scratcher.
The convicts would have used laths, and this is my modern adaptation of that.
Okay, so that's what's made all these marks.
That's
on the
right,
wall. Ah,
yes.
Very interesting.
I
Thanks ever so much, Michael.
You're welcome.
It's really interesting to see how this project's all come about. I
Yeah.
think we're we're coming to the end of it now, and
Yeah.
you've been doing it since when did you start making the render?
February.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
talking about nearly
That's right.
yeah,
And I was
9,
making
10
the
months.
lime 12 months before that. And we
right.
actually started on site, I think, June, around the 1st
Yes,
of June.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a very long process. It looks fantastic, I must say.
It
It's
does,
wonderful
yeah.
to see the Bond store looking as it would have done, 200 years ago.
Well, that's the whole
Yeah.
point. That's how it would
Yeah,
have looked.
it's fantastic.